What if I told you that you could have everything that your heart desires today? What if you could have everything that your heart desired today? What if I told you also that there's only, or not only, what if I told you also that I know three things that you can start to change or start to adjust today that would greatly improve your ability to have the things that you want and that you desire? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you those three things. And not only am I going to tell you the three reasons why you don't have everything that your heart desires right now, but I'm also going to give you three great tips or a few great tips on how to make that change, adjustment, and then how to have the things that you want. All right. So this message came to me, this thought came to me while I was sitting in church today, or on my way to church today. I had another thought, but that's for a different conversation. But I was thinking, like, why is it that it seems so hard for us to have the things that we desire? Like, God gave us a desire. He gave us a burning desire for certain things in this world, certain things in our life, certain pinnacles or achievements to make. But why is it so hard for us to have the things that God already intended for us to have? And one of the things that I thought about was this. So number one, the reason why most of us don't have the things that we desire to have is because we don't have what we need to have to get them. Now, I know that sounded like a tongue twister, but it does not mean for it to be. Check this out, right? The reason why most people aren't investing in real estate is because they don't have the money that they think they need to get started in real estate. The reason why most people who don't get started in real estate is because they don't have the properties that they think they need in order to get started in real estate. They don't have the deal flow. They don't have a website. They don't have a business. They don't have a LLC. Whatever the reason is that's keeping you from doing whatever the business is that you have in your heart, you feel like you don't have something. And because you feel like you don't have whatever it is that you feel like you need, you aren't achieving what you need to achieve. Now, I want you to understand what I'm saying, right? There's a difference between the things that we need and the things that we think we need, right? So let me go back, right? We all know that it takes money to make money, especially in real estate. But because we think we need the money, we don't get started, and it causes us to never achieve what we meant to achieve. The moment that we start to realize that not having something does not disqualify us from being able to achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Now I want you to think about it like this, right? Somebody will say, well, I would do this if I knew how to use a computer. I would if I knew how to do this. When we say I would if, we're already letting ourselves know that there's something that we feel like we don't have to get what it is that we desire. And if you can learn how to switch that up and understand that sometimes you don't need the things that you think you need. You don't need a whole lot of money to get started in real estate. You don't. You need to know how to find money. But you don't need to have a whole lot of money. You don't need to have a property. You don't need to know how to negotiate on properties. You need to have someone who can get you properties. Which brings me to my second tip, which was you don't have access. A lot of times we don't get started in whatever endeavor because we lack the access to either the resources to get started, or we lack the access to the people who already are started in that arena. Now, point in case, right? Let's go back to real estate, because I'm a real estate investor, so I love talking about real estate. But you can swap out real estate with whatever it is that you have going on, whatever it is that you desire. You can swap it out, and these principles will still work, right? Some of us lack access to the things that we need in order to get started. Now, in real estate, you need access to lenders. You need access to contractors. You need access to cheap material. You need access to good deal flows. You need access to a good realtor or a good real estate professional that can help you to achieve what you need to achieve. We lack the access sometimes, and because we don't have access to whatever the tool is that we need, we think that we can't get started. That's not true, right? So how do you fix an access problem? You network. Things like getting on these live videos, things like joining Facebook groups, things like joining other Reddit groups. You know, Bunny and I are on Reddit, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Of course, you guys are watching me right here on YouTube. There's we're part of another investor platform where there are just people who are looking to invest in real estate. They got money and they want to invest in real estate. And it's various different ways. Private money lenders, hard money lenders, some people who want to be equity partners, all different type of things. But having access to those people, having access to those platforms greatly increases the amount of work, the amount of deals that we can do, and it decreases actually the amount of work that we have to do. Because once you have access to people who already have the tools that you need, you can utilize their knowledge, their experience. Once I get my contractor or my list of contractors together, I can utilize their experience on looking at properties and doing rehabs to tell me, give me a better idea on what I need to do to get this deal done. So it makes deal structure way easier. So one of the reasons why we don't have what we want or what we desire is because we lack access. Now, another thing aside from your network is your exposure. For some of you, your exposure sucks. Now, what does that mean? We always tell the kids in the house that you got to watch your pie. Your pie is your performance, your image, and your exposure. Your performance is the work that you do. Bunny had this great saying the other day, all work works except for the work that you don't do. Your performance is lacking, everything else is gonna lack, right? Image is how people see you. Do people like you? Do people naturally like to listen to you? Or and all of these different things, like what is your image? What image are you portraying? You know, some people have the rough and rugged image, some people don't have it. For me, I'm a follower of Christ, so everything that we do is biblically based. I love doing business with other believers, other followers. I do business with people who are not, don't get me wrong, but my preference, I like that. So my image is gonna portray that because those are the people that I look to generally attract. So what is your image? What are you looking to attract? And then exposure. Your exposure is how much people see you. Who knows you? If no one knows who you are, of course it is hard for you to get deals. Listen, if the bank don't know who you are, then you're not going to get the loan. Go to the bank, talk to them, ask questions, get an email them, send text messages. Whatever it is that you have to do, but they need to know who you are and they need to know what you are doing in this in whatever arena it is. So again, like I'm talking real estate investing. We go to real estate networking events, and Bunny and I used to volunteer to work the door at the local Nashville REN, which is Real Estate Investors in Nashville. If you're not a part of that group, definitely join. We used to work the door, right? Actually, we started off with the food. We were the people who put the food up on the thing, and we were paid members. Now, don't get me wrong, we were paid members, but we volunteered our time. We would get there early, set up the food, put the pizza out, all the little cut up fruit and vegetables and all that other stuff. But what it did is it meant that every person that came into the cafe, into the little eating area to get something to eat, we got a one-on-one opportunity to talk with them. They got to see us one-on-one. It greatly increased our exposure within the organization. Then we moved our way up to working the front door. The front door was the best thing that we could have done because we literally got to speak to every single person that came into the networking event. Every person that came in there, whether they were the new wholesaler who's trying to figure out how to get started or the millionaire who's just looking to put their money to work, we got to meet them, shake their hands. We got to chit chat with them for a time frame, especially if there was a backlog of people trying to get badged in, or someone is a new member so they're signing up. I love when a new member come in and then somebody I wanted to talk to come in behind them, because I can hold you hostage for as long as this person is signing up. So exposure. Who knows you? How often do they see you? How often do they see you talk? Listen, if nobody on your timeline knows that you invest in real estate, your exposure is off. Okay, if your family members don't know that you are investing in real estate, your exposure is off. If your friends don't know that you have a desire to open a business, your exposure is off. You're not talking about it enough. And yes, it is true, you don't want to talk about your dream or your vision with people who don't have the ability to understand it. However, they should still know that it is something that you have a desire for, whether they understand it or not. Most people don't understand how their car works, but they like to know that this person right here is a mechanic and knows how to fix cars, or they have a passion for cars and they can likely tell me what's wrong with it so I can take it to the mechanic and get it fixed. But when people know that you have a love and a desire for something, that increases your exposure. And the more exposure you have, the easier it's going to be for you to obtain the things that you need or that you think you need to get started in real estate. Now, there are some things that you think you need, you don't need. But because you think you need them, you need them. Okay? If you think you need money to get started in real estate, you need money to get started in real estate because it is a predetermined ideal that you have in your mind. If you think that you don't need it, then you won't need it because you'll go out and you'll find access. Now that brings me to the third thing that anybody can do, any little adjustment that you can make to your mindset to get you to a place to have everything that your heart desires, everything that God has put in your heart for you to desire. And the third thing is having access but not asking. Some of us have access to all the things that we need. Some of you have access to the money. You just have not asked the person that you know has the access to the money. Some of you have access to the experience, but you have not asked the person with the experience to share in some of their knowledge with you so that you can have some wisdom about the thing that you're going to do. Some of you have the access to the person who's running the flip right now. They're flipping a house right now, and all you got to do is get up on your free time, go out, meet them, talk about the property, ask them questions, record yourself asking them questions, and post it on your Facebook so you can get some exposure, and then get yourself moving into the arena of real estate investing. But sometimes we don't have what we need or what we think we need because we didn't ask. Sometimes it's because we didn't ask the right question. And it made me think about King Solomon, right? In the Bible, when God came to King Solomon in a dream, he asked him, what do you want? What is it that I can do for you, essentially? And I'm paraphrasing, so go back and read it for yourself. But I'm going to paraphrase this real quick, right? He asked King Solomon, what is it, or Solomon, this is before he was king, what is it that you want? And or it was before he was anointed to be king, but he hadn't been appointed as king yet. So Solomon said, I want wisdom to govern the people that you've put me in charge of. He asked, not only did he ask the question for the thing that he thought that he needed and the thing that he did not have, but he asked the right question. And because he asked the right question, God not only gave him what he asked for or what he felt that he needed, he also gave him more. He gave him peace. He gave him wisdom. He gave him finances. He gave him no enemies. There was no war during the time of Solomon. He was a great businessman. He was a leader of his people. He had great exposure. You understand that other kings and other queens would send their people to King Solomon to learn the wisdom that God had given them. Now, in the beginning, he didn't have access to this, to what he felt like he needed. He may have known that he had access because God came to him. So once he knew that he had access, he asked the right question. God asked him, he gave the right answer, and then he was given what he needed to have to govern over the people. If you are looking to get into real estate, again, real estate is my thing, right? When I was starting out in real estate investing, I was always asking questions at the real estate meetup. I was asking questions of the people who are already doing the things that I wanted to do anyway. If I saw you on Facebook post a post about a new development property that you're currently developing, and I see you at the real estate meetup, you better believe I'm gonna come and ask you a question about that. Oh, and if I find a property like that, is that something that you might be interested in partnering on in exchange for some knowledge? Do those things and you will meet the people that you need to meet. Somebody who's already doing it may have the money that you need and the experience that you need to get your deal done. And once you get your first deal done, it's easier to get your second deal done. And once you get your second deal done, the third deal becomes easier. And before you know it, you have this cascade, this roller coaster, this snowball effect of deals and cash flow, and your network is growing. Listen, my network is growing currently at a rate that is unbelievable, okay? Because I've been praying that God will send people to us that we can help, people that we can provide value to, people that we can help out of a sticky situation. And I'm talking about network has been growing. My inbox has been growing. I got people sending me deals from all over the place. I got people trying to connect with me to do deals with me. And it's all because of these things, right? It's all because I stopped thinking about the things that I don't have and the things that I felt like I needed, and I started looking for the things that I already have access to, or the things that I lack access to, so that I can get that access. If you don't have anybody around you with money that can help to invest in what you want to do, you need to go and get some people around you who have the money. How do you do that? Go to some networking events, ask questions, network with people, meet people, offer value to somebody, offer to do some work in exchange for some knowledge. It is a very easy concept, and for some reason we don't think that it still works, but I'm telling you right now that it still works. Okay, you can find people at networking events who will happily share information, especially considering that most people like to talk about what they have going on. I enjoy talking about my deals. I enjoy you know, when Bunny and I do an investor pitch, I enjoy it because not only am I getting to share my vision with someone else, I'm helping them to understand how they can do it too. I'm not doing anything that you can't do. Me making this video right now is getting me exposure. I'm not doing anything that you can't do either. Do it on your Facebook. Do it with your family and your friends, whatever it is. But start, okay? You can have anything that your heart desires if you learn to, one, repaint in your mind the things that you feel like you have to have and need to have versus the things that you actually need. Two, the things that you have access to versus the things that you don't have access to. And then three, the things that you do have access to, are you asking the right question of the holder of those things? If somebody has the money that you need, are you asking them the right questions? Don't say, hey, can you invest in my deal? Say, hey, what type of return would be best? Would you like to get in order for you to invest in a deal? That's a better question to ask, because you want to give them what they need, what they don't have. You know, they have the money, but they may not have a deal. They may not have a way to invest it. Give them what they need, what they want, what they desire. In exchange, you get what you need, what you want, what you desire. But you have to change your mindset on how you look at the things that you have, the things you don't have, the things you have access to, and the things you don't have access to. And anytime you come across a problem in any of those arenas, how do I fix it? How do I get the things that I want? How do I, how do I get the things that I don't have access to? Who has access to it? Let me think about who has access to it. You know, when you're looking to move and you need a moving truck, you start thinking, oh, how many people do I know with a moving truck? Okay, now I know people with access. Now you have to determine, okay, could they do it? Would they do it? Will they do it? And I'm going to do a whole nother talk about could, would, and will, okay? Because sometimes we talk about the things that we could do if we had the money. We talk about the things that we would do if we had the money. But we often don't think about the things that we will do when we get the money. And it's a big difference in those three things. When you say that you would do something, that's already letting me know that you don't have it. When you say that you could do something, it's also letting me know that you probably don't have it. You could do it, but I could start investing if I had more money to put into it. Well, you would start investing if you knew that you already had access to the money. If you're watching this video right now, you have access to money you didn't even know you had access to. It's just as easy as you dropping a comment in the comment section. If you really got a deal and it's a sweet deal and you know it's a home run deal, drop a comment, because you may already have access to the capital you need. You may already have access to the experience you need right here on this video. But if you don't ask the question, you'll never get it. You get what I'm saying? You may have the money but not know how to find a deal, and you just saying, oh, if I could just make my money make me 15% interest, 20% interest. Ooh, if I could just get 25% of the cash flow off of a deal, 50% of the cash flow off of a deal, I'd be happy if I could. Well, you would if you knew that you had access to a person or people who were able to help facilitate that. Think about it like this, right? When you go to the gas station, you would fill your gas tank up as long as you got the money and as long as the gas station has gas. You will fill it up if you have the money, you need gas, and they have the gas. You will get to a point where you will invest when you realize that you have access to the money, you have access to the experience, you have access to the contractors, you have access to the boots on the ground, you have access to all of these different things. And I'm gonna tell you right now, some of us are walking around in our hands with the biggest tool that can help propel our life. It's called your cell phone. Your cell phone has so many tools that you can use. Get into some Facebook group, people. I'm gonna drop a comment in this on this video. I'm gonna let you guys know what our Facebook group name is. You can join us on our fractional platform. It's for investors, people who are looking to put their money to work. Because again, all work except for the work you don't do. That includes your money. All work works. If your money is working for you, it will build you wealth. If your money is not working for you, it is not building you wealth. And it is just a fiat currency that has no value. Put it to work. Put it to work. Put it to work. All work works except for the work that you don't do. So get your network together, get your exposure together, get your mindset together, and let's get it going in 2024, okay? If you need deals, drop it in the comments. If you need money, drop it in the comments. If you need experience, drop it in the comments. If not my comments, the comments of somebody else. But you never know who has what you need because you didn't ask. And don't assume that people are just gonna know what you need just because you walk through the door. I'm like, oh, that guy must need money because he came to the real estate event. No, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows what you want. You could be Joe Smo who just happened to come in because it was hot outside and you need to get out of the heat. You could be the person who you're a title clerk and maybe I don't need a title clerk. I don't know what you do. That's the point that I'm making. So until you start letting people know what it is you do, nobody's going to know how they can help you. Until you start letting people know how they can help you, nobody's going to be able to help you. Until you start looking for ways to help other people, they're not going to accept your help. If you're a wholesaler and you're having a hard time with getting sellers to commit to selling properties to you, it's because you're focused more on what you want, what you don't have, what you feel that you need, than you are on fixing their problem and giving them what they need. Find out what it is that they don't have. What is it that they lack access to? And then tailor your solution around the problem that they actually have. Foreclosure is not a problem for some people. They were going to let that house go anyway. They didn't like it. But you know what may be a problem? Going and getting another property. Or maybe they already don't have cash flow. The reason why they don't care about the house is because they broke anyway. Can you figure out a way to fix that for them? Fix the problems that people have and watch how people will come and start, like, people will start throwing business. They will start throwing opportunities. They will start throwing their help at you, okay? Everybody wants to invest in the stocks that are doing great because they have exposure. You know who Apple is. You know who Nike is. You know who Coca-Cola is. People put their money in these big stocks and these big companies because they have exposure. You know who they are. So it just makes sense when you're talking about your business. If people know who you are, if you have the exposure, people will invest in you. People will invest more into you the more that you get out there. But get out of your head, okay? Get out of your head. For somebody, you only came on this video today for me to tell you to get out of your head and stop holding yourself back. Stop coming up with excuses and start finding solutions. And if you don't have a personal solution, find a person who can provide the solution for you, okay? Bunny and I are happy to answer questions. I love answering your questions, so drop them in the comments, like I said, because I'll make a video just answering your particular question if you have a question that you need help with. And we can get this rocking and rolling. But there is no reason for you not to be successful by the end of 2024, okay? We still have a little bit over 5 months left in the month, okay? And generational wealth starts as soon as you start. Nothing starts before you start. You can't go on a road trip without first getting on the road. You know, most of us have this idea that we'll go when we get. And sometimes you can't go when you get. Like, you can't go on a road trip when you get. Like, if I want to go to Florida, I can't go to Florida when I get to Florida. I got to start somewhere so that I can get there. This same thing with your business, with your career, with your life. You can't get anywhere unless you start. So start somewhere. I hope this video helped you guys out. I just wanted to make that real quick before I ran into Target. You see, I'm sitting in the car, just got out of church. But if you don't have access to something, you don't know how to get it, just ask the question. Ask the right question and watch what you can get. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pick these diapers up because what I don't have is diapers, but I know that Target has them and they're gonna give me access to them as long as I get them some cash flow. So I'm gonna go in here and obtain access to some nighttime diapers for LaKendra, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.